Hi everyone. In this demonstration video, I'll be showing you Interfire's addition to the Procore Xero Integration, the timesheeting and labour job costing module. This module is compatible with all forms of time entry in Procore, such as via the Resource Management Timesheets tool, timecard entry, time entered directly into a project site diary, or time entered using Procore's smartphone app, MyTime. The timesheet integration is broken into two distinct parts. The first part is the timesheeting portion, where we're simply getting timesheets from Procore into Xero. The second part is the job costing, where the hours worked by an employee are converted into a direct cost on the project. Site diary completion is used as the approval to create project direct costs. The time in Procore multiplied by the rate in OneCore is the cost used back on your project. It's important to note that employee rates for Procore time types entered into OneCore are independent of Xero rates. The only time that the integration interacts with Xero is when the timesheet is pushed across from Procore. To use the module, we need to ensure that the two systems can talk to each other. And in order to do this, you'll need to perform some tasks on the OneCore dashboard. You'll need to map the employees in Procore with the employees in Xero. You'll need to map the timecard time types in Procore, such as regular time, overtime, double time, to the relevant earnings rates in Xero. Once you have defined the mappings, you then need to add rates for the mapped employees to be used on the projects in Procore. Once that mapping has been completed and you've got it enabled, the timesheets are sent across from Procore to Xero on a live sync. It's important to note that the direct costs are triggered only by the site diary closure. In the demonstration portion of this video, I'll take you through entering time in Procore and how the timesheet actually looks in Xero. I'll then show you what the direct cost looks like when you go back into your project. But first, I'll show you the mappings on the OneCore dashboard. Here we are in the OneCore dashboard. Once the timesheeting module has been enabled, you'll see this timesheet job costings menu on the left-hand side. This is where you perform the pre-onboarding tasks. Firstly, you map the time types by going in and selecting the blue pencil. You select the relevant earnings rate in Xero and map it to the Procore time type. You'll save your changes. Once you've worked through the various time types, you would then start the employee mapping. To do this, you would go to the blue pencil next to the employee's name and select their name on the other system and save. Once an employee is mapped, this yellow button will appear. That is the employee settings. We'll go in and have a look at James Johnson's settings. If you take a look here, you can see that for regular time, he has a rate that's set of $45. That was done using the blue pencil icon. His overtime rate is set at 70 and his travel time is set at 20. These can all be edited at any time using the pencil. These are the times that are the default used across any project for that employee. If you'd like to stipulate a different rate for a different project, you can do this by nominating that rate next to the project using the blue pencil icon. You can see in this example that high-rise development has a rate of $60, which will override the base rate of $45. You would enter your amount and save your changes. The ability to use a built-up rate is handy for customers who have projects that are cost plus. Another example of customers using this tool is when they want to reflect more of the true cost of that employee to the project. It may be what the employee is paid, plus building in an amount that covers their super and any other allowances and overheads that cost the company. The module has the flexibility to allow for employees who you may not want a timesheet to be created for. An example of that would be if you have a director who works on a project, but they're paid on a salary, so you don't need a timesheet for them. You simply untick this Create Xero timesheet checkbox. I'll now show you the entry of time in Procore. I'll show you an example of entering a timesheet using the Resource Management Timesheets tool. We've got today's date entered. I'm going to hit Create a new daily timesheet. I'll select James Johnson and hit Add. Here we'll select the cost code that's going to appear in the budget against that direct cost. We'll enter in the break time and submit. The good thing about entering time via the timesheeting tool is that there is an approval process built in, and it's probably the best in terms of what Procore has to offer. I'll hit approve, and this timesheet will take about 15 to 30 seconds to reach Xero. So I'll switch screens over to Xero to show you what that timesheet looks like. You can see the timesheet sitting over here in the draft status. If we open up this timesheet, you can see the mapped employee, the mapped earnings rate, and the mapped project, and the hours entered. I'll go back into Procore now and show you what we need to do to trigger that direct cost to be created against the project. We're back in Procore, and in order to trigger the direct cost creation, we need to close off the particular day in the site diary. So going into the site diary here, we can see the time card entry that's bringing up James Johnson, the cost code, the regular time, and the hours. I'll go down and close the day by hitting complete. It will take about 15 to 30 seconds to appear on the project in the direct costs tool. We'll go into direct costs under the financial management menu. And you can see that direct cost has come through. It's showing that it's the payroll is the type of direct cost, the date, and there is the amount that has been calculated by multiplying the hours worked in Procore by the rate that has been set in the OneCore dashboard. And there is the date that it was paid. So if we go in and view that direct cost, show you a bit more detail. It will show you the line item that will appear in the budget. So we've got, that's the cost code showing there. It shows you the employee, the date the hours were worked, the amount of hours, and the cost of those hours to the project. That brings us to the end of the video. If you would like to get the module enabled, please advise support by emailing support@interfire.com.au, and we will get the module onboarding process started. Thank you for your time.